Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle, and today I want to talk to you about limiting beliefs and roadblocks that keep us from reaching our goals and creating the life we want. So, first, I want to start off with the story of how I discovered I had some limiting beliefs and some roadblocks. So, it was last year of 2018, it was in November, and I decided that I wanted to go back into the medical field and get a job. When it was time for me to go get a job, some of the limiting beliefs that came up was, okay, I haven't been in the medical field in 14 years. And that's going to look really terrible on a resume. And then I wasn't even sure that I was going to get hired. I wasn't sure that people were going to hire me. So that was the second limiting belief. But not only were there limiting beliefs going on in my brain, I noticed some roadblocks that came up, to try to keep me from my goal of getting a new job. And one of the roadblocks was I didn't have a resume. I hadn't worked in 14 years at a facility. I had ran a photography business on my own, but I had never had to make a resume, so I didn't have a resume. The timing belt had just broken on my SUV, and I didn't have a way to get to any job interviews if I got one. So that was another roadblock I kept telling myself. Another one was I don't have any clothes to wear. I had set a goal to get fit that year, and I had lost a lot of weight, and I couldn't fit any of my nice clothing. So I automatically said I won't be able to go on any interviews because I don't have any clothing. So here I am putting these roadblocks up in my way, making these excuses, and not realizing that I'm doing this to myself. I'm just self sabotaging, and I'm never going to reach my goal with these blocks in the way. So, after flipping the script on the limiting beliefs, as far as me being out of the medical field for 14 years, I flipped the script and told myself, even though I've been out of the medical field for 14 years, I'm a smart person. I know I can learn anything. All I need is a good teacher and some time, and I'll learn the new systems. The next thing I did is I started taking down my roadblocks, and I didn't have a lot of time to make a resume, so I decided that I didn't need a resume in order to get a job. Okay. I knew I didn't have a car at the moment, and I didn't have the money to get my car fixed at the moment either. So I was between a rock and a hard place. So I started working on that and trying to figure out how I was going to get to a job interview if I did get an interview. And so I ended up borrowing my dad's truck. He loaned me his truck. And so I was able to knock down that roadblock, and I'm thinking, okay, now I have a car where I can go to an interview if I need to. And then the next thing was the clothes. Now, mind you, all of my good clothes that I had from the photography business would not fit anymore, and they just kind of hung on me like a paper sack. So, and I didn't have a lot of money at this time, so I was trying to figure out how in the world I was going to get a job just with jeans and a t-shirt. And I thought to myself, who says I can't go up into a place with jeans and a t-shirt and not get a job? So I removed that roadblock that way. So I had been looking up jobs on the internet for a while and calling places, and I hadn't gotten any interviews yet, and I was getting a little frustrated. Christmas was coming. We needed some money. I was tired of waiting, and I decided that I was going to pave my own way and that I was going to take control of the situation. So I tore down all the blocks I had. And what I did, I didn't have a resume. I had my dad's truck so I could drive to a place. I picked a place that I liked and that I felt was close enough to me and that paid the money that I wanted to make. So I put on a pair of jeans and I put on a t-shirt and some tennis shoes, and I drive up to this place and I don't even have an interview, okay? So I drive up to this place. I don't have an interview. I don't have a resume, and I walk in and I ask to speak with the manager. The lady at the front desk goes to get the manager, and I explained to her I was just coming through town and I just wanted to stop in and say hello and see if y'all were hiring. The lady explains to me that she is hiring and they happen to not be busy at the moment, and she called me back and we had an interview. So first of all, my belief that I needed an interview in order to get a job was just crushed then. So we go back, we have the interview, It goes well. And I apologized to her about the jeans and a t-shirt. I ended up saying something like I was just passing by and thought I would come in and ask if you were hiring. And so that was my way out of not being dressed professionally, and it worked. She didn't care what I had on. She told me that I could send in my resume when I got a chance, and so I did that after I left. I did that. I sent in my resume. For whatever reason, I didn't get hired that day, and I think it may have been because they never really received my resume because I had to send it to the girl at the front desk, and I don't know that she ever got it to the manager. And but that's okay because the next week I finally got the clothes because I had to go to a funeral. So I was forced to buy clothes that looked professional so that I could go to the funeral. So a few weeks go by, and after all my job searches, I finally get an interview with a neurologist. I get dressed up in my funeral clothes because, that's the nicest thing I had at the time. And I go to my interview, and all goes well. And I leave the interview, but something just feels off. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try to go down the street because I know there's some more doctor's offices down here and see if I can't pull that thing I pulled earlier where I just walk into a place, ask to speak with the hiring manager, and see if I can get my way in without an interview. So I go down the street a little bit and I walk into this anesthesiologist's office and I start talking to the ladies at the front desk and I tell them who I am. I let them know that I'm looking for a position. As I'm speaking to the ladies there, the head doctor comes out of her office, looks me straight in the face, and says, "Hello, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm good. How are you doing?" And then I give her the spiel about how I was just stopping in to see if they were hiring. And I let her know that I sent a resume ahead of time, which I thought I did, but come to find out, I had sent my resume. I had sent my resume to another anesthesiologist and not to this particular one. So she's like, "Yeah, sure, we're hiring. Give me a second. I'll call you back." So she calls me back, and we have a really great talk. And I can tell I'm probably going to get hired because I'm sitting there, and she's thinking, she's being silent, she's kind of trying to go back and forth. She says something about me being out of the medical field for 14 years, but she decides that she's going to give me a chance. So here's my chance. I got a job. So she still hadn't had my resume at this point. She said I could send it later. And then she said to come in the next day. And so I started the next day and I worked there for 2 months, and it was awesome. I got exactly what I needed from that job. I learned a ton of stuff. I got the money I needed, and I'm really grateful for the experience because what it taught me is that I'm a limitless being and that I can remove any roadblocks that are standing in my way that are keeping me from reaching my goals in life and that are keeping me from creating the life I want. And even while I was there wasn't a whole lot of training. It was more so me figuring things out on my own. And because she kind of put me in this position and just let me have it, I was forced to learn everything by myself. And so when you're put in a position like that, when you're forced to learn things that you've never learned before, then your brain is stretched and you realize that you can learn a lot more than you think you can, faster than you think you can. And you also learn that you're capable of way more than you thought you were. I mean, I was doing things that I didn't think I could ever do, like taking blood pressure. I was taking patients to the back office and working in the back office, which is something I'd never done before. I had always worked in the front office. I was calling to get approvals for procedures, which I had never done before. And let me tell you, that is a very hard job to do. And it didn't take me long to master it, and I got really good, and I always got approvals. It was awesome. I did mess up a few times, but everybody makes mistakes. We're human. But I just learned so much. But it was a great experience, and I'm so thankful for it. And I'm so thankful for the doctor there because she kind of just would tell me to do stuff and then just tell me to figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. And so it just goes to show that if you can take down your limiting beliefs and flip them on their head and tell yourself that you are capable of doing this, then you can do it. And if you can learn to recognize your roadblocks and remove them as soon as you start putting them up yourself, then that can really speed up the process on getting what you want in life. So basically, the first thing you want to do if you're trying to get any goal in life, this could be when it comes to relationships. Maybe you're trying to meet someone and you have some limiting beliefs that you'll never meet your partner, or maybe you'll never make new friends. You can flip those limiting beliefs on their head and start having a more positive aspect, like I will meet my partner one day, or I'm going to meet the perfect friends one day. I just have to be more of myself and let more of myself out into the world so that people know who I really am. And when you have roadblocks come up, you just have to take them out. Maybe you're trying to get fit and, become more healthy. And a lot of times we have some limiting beliefs around that. Like maybe I'm not capable of lifting weights because I'm hurt, or I can't lift weights because it's too hard for me. Those are limiting beliefs. And you don't really know if that's true unless you actually try. So action creates clarity. And if you take action, you're going to know if you can do it by taking action or if you can't do it. Usually you'll find that you can do things by taking action. And if you can't, at least you're clear now that maybe you can't lift that amount of weight or something like that. But yeah, your limiting beliefs are really going to come up when you try to get fit. Maybe you'll think something like, I can't lose weight because I don't like the food, or I can't stop eating the food that I'm eating. It could be anything. Or I don't have the time or energy, or I have kids and my kids are holding me back. There's a roadblock. Kids are a roadblock. You can, take those roadblocks and flip them on their head by saying, I'm going to get a sitter. I'm going to get a trainer. I'm going to put my kids in a stroller and go walk. I'm going to work out while my kids are napping at home. Meaning I'm going to work out in the home. There's all kinds of roadblocks that are going to come up when you start trying to reach your goals. Maybe you want to change your lifestyle. Maybe you want to get a new car. Maybe you're saying, I don't have money for a payment, or my credit's bad. Or you can have any kind of blocks that you're putting up yourself. You have to realize that these blocks are coming from you, not from outside sources. You're creating these. You're sabotaging yourself from reaching your own goals. So always remember that when these limiting beliefs start coming up. It can be anything when it comes to lifestyle, your job, your fitness, creativity, and learning. Maybe you tell yourself something like, I'm not a creative person. But who told you that? Everyone is a creator being. We're all creative beings in this world. We create. Look around you. Everything around you, your life right now is what you created it to be. It was in here at one time, and then you made it become a reality. So look at your house, look at your decor. You created that. Look at your yard. You created the way that yard looks. Look at the job you have, how your kids are, the way you dress. You created all of that. You are a creative person. And when these roadblocks come up in learning, because sometimes when people are trying to create the lives that they want and they want to try something new, whether it be with your health and fitness or creating the life you want through a job, and you have to learn new skills, a lot of people have like these learning limitations that come up, and they think, oh, I can't learn that. I'm not a great reader, or I can't learn that because I'm a slow learner. Because somebody told them that when they were young and they started believing it, but it's not true. Or maybe they think they're not smart because they didn't make the greatest grades in school. But honey, I didn't make the greatest grades in school, and it wasn't because I was dumb. I found out it was because I wasn't interested in the material. And so it makes a big difference in life if you really want to do something and you genuinely have an interest in it. It's amazing on how much you can learn and how easy it is to learn that then. And it's amazing if you really do want it in life, how the roadblocks that you put up, you can tear them down really fast because that's something you really want to do. So you only learn things slow if it's something you don't want to do or not really interested in and don't care about. So anytime these limiting beliefs come up, you need to flip them on their head. And so anytime you have these thoughts in your mind of you're not good enough or you can't do this, my screen just went dark. There we go. You just flip them on their head and you correct them and you start believing these new beliefs. And every time you believe these new beliefs, they become stronger, and then they become your new beliefs, and those old limiting beliefs will go away. So, like with anything, the moment you decide on whatever it is that you're going to create, whatever goal that you're trying to reach, that's what you have to do first. You have to decide that this is what I'm going to do. If you don't decide, you're never going to do anything, okay? After you've decided what you want to do, you need to start watching your mind and see if these limiting beliefs come up that say you can't do that, who do you think you are, things like that. And you want to take those beliefs and flip them on their head and say the opposite. And you want to believe it 100%. And then the second thing is you want to be aware of your roadblocks when they come up. It's an excuse that you put up in the way to keep you from having to do the thing that you need to do in order to reach the goals you're trying to reach and to create the life that you actually want. So anytime you see yourself making excuses, putting things in your way, or you find a roadblock, and instead of stopping at the roadblock, why don't you just try to tear the roadblock down and keep moving forward? And guess what? Sometimes when you tear that roadblock down and you move forward, you're going to hit another roadblock, and that's fine. All you have to do is take the steps to get that roadblock down, and then you keep going and you keep repeating until you've reached your goal. That's how it works. And then you have the reality that you want to create. So stop sabotaging yourself by believing your limited beliefs. They're not true. And stop sabotaging yourself by putting up roadblocks in your way and making these excuses as to why you can't do things in life. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking. But Michelle, it's not a limiting belief. It's reality. I live in reality. Well, that's one perspective, but it's only your perspective in a vast universe of possible realities. You can choose the reality you want by changing your beliefs about yourself and by making certain choices in order to shift to the reality that you're wanting to experience. I've had multiple different realities throughout my lifetime. I had a reality where I was a homeschool teacher and I taught my kids, and I didn't have a lot of freedom because I gave all of my time to a certain organization and they controlled a lot of my actions, and I dressed very different and I made very different decisions and I made a lot of poor choices in life. And then there's another reality where I was a photographer and I made money doing photography and I homeschooled my kids still. And then I had a problem with alcohol during that time. And then there's this other reality that I'm in now where I have a coaching business and I don't have a problem, an addiction with alcohol anymore. And I live in a whole different house that I used to live in. I have an entirely different body than I was in those other realities. My health is better. I'm creating the reality I want. There's all kinds of realities that we've lived in. The way I was able to shift from these different realities was all through the choices that I was making in life. See, if you can change your beliefs about yourself, you can change your reality. And if you make choices that line up with those beliefs of the reality you're trying to create, then you're going to get what you want in life. Now, I don't have everything I want in life, and that's good, because if I did, then I don't know what I would do with my time. And I think it would be pretty boring if I had everything. Life's a game. It's fun. And it's fun to try to create the life you want. And it's fun to try to make your reality what you want it to be. It's fun to make the body that you're trying to create. It's fun to try to, create the career you want. It's fun to create the way you want your house to look. It's fun to create your relationships and how you want them to be, and who you want in your circle and who you don't want in your circle. It's fun to create new things and learn new things. So basically, if you look around right now at your reality and you're not satisfied, then all you have to do is change your beliefs, those limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. Take down those roadblocks and start making the choices and start taking the actions that line up with the person who can create that reality. That being you. You are the person. So you're going to have to be a different person, basically. You can't have the same beliefs that you have now if you want a different life. You have to change those beliefs. So right now, whatever life you have is being created by your belief system, and it's being created by the choices that you're making. And so if you want a different life, all you have to do is take down those limiting beliefs, flip them on their head into a more positive thought process, and then you need to take all your roadblocks down, and then all you have to do then is be that person and take the actions by making the choices that you need to make in order to create the life you want. You can make your reality any way you want it to be, and I'm pretty sure by this time next year I won't even have the same reality. My house will be very different. I'll drive a very different car, and it's because I have a vision for it. And my body will be different, and maybe my career will be different. I know my career will be different, actually. So you see, that maybe was a limiting belief, and I said I know. That's how you flip the script on your limiting beliefs. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Join me next week, and we will see you guys then. Bye bye.